Yo, boys. So it is currently the 22nd of April, or I mean, actually the 21st in the US. And I wanted to come in here mainly just to be very honest for just an update, to be very straightforward with you guys. My plan with this video is not to overall just provide a lot of value and X, Y, and Z. It's more so just to kind of keep myself accountable to continuously post on YouTube, continuously push something out there and just do it so that it becomes a habit so that in the future I'll be able to obviously push out with a lot more volume and value as well. Heck, who knows? Maybe this is some value for some people. Now, this is officially the second week. I mean, this day marks the second week or so, second, like 15, 16 days ever since I launched my new offer in my agency, which is the PPSA business model, right? Now, there's a couple reasons I'd like to kind of just go over why I decided to go for this model now and what I would advise you if you're a new agency owner and I guess, yeah, my thought process and how it's going, right? So, main thing is that the main issue that I was having in my like current business and my B2B side and my offer was I would just blatantly say my offer, right? And the reason I can tell my offer was off is my CAC, my overall results, and my like the amount I paid to acquire a client, not yet alone get a lead, get bookings, get people on the phone, was just too high. It was too high to acquire a client, to whereas it didn't make sense to run the same offer. I would always tweak something, right? So I would always tweak something about, say, I changed something about the follow ups. I would change something about the show up messages. I would change something about the email sent out. I would change something about the creative angles. But overall, nothing was really sticking, right? I'm not saying that something is sticking right now. It's working right now. Obviously, it needs time. However, I knew that the core thing that needed to be changed was the overall offer because anything else wasn't really working as I wanted to, right? Now, why did I decide to completely change my offer? And honestly, to be very straightforward, that was probably the scariest and probably still is the scariest decision that I've made. Just because I went from pitching retainers where you are guaranteed to make money, regardless if the client gets results or not, which is as a business owner, number one, it is the hardest thing to sell when you're in a B2B offer. I mean, probably selling upfront PIFs is a lot harder, but it is harder to sell in a sense where you can get far more clients with a low barrier to entry, no brainer offer than a retainer, right? Think about it like this: person sees your ad, first time ever seeing your ad, jumps on a call with you, speaks to you for 40 minutes. All of a sudden, you want 1,400 for your retainer, and then you also want them to invest into ads, separate 1,100, 1,200 a month. All of a sudden, they had no thought about anything, but now they are about 2.5 to 3 grand out every single month. That decision is not the easiest to make at a call right there and then. Yes, I've done it a couple of times, signed multiple clients on a first call, other clients where I followed up with them. That's not the point though, right? The point is that that model is working. It still does work. However, it's an uphill battle, right? I've scaled it to a certain point where I'm consistently making anywhere from, on average, just from my retainers, 20 to 25K a month, right? In revenue. So for me to get to that next level, I don't really see it like I don't really see that I can double this with a retainer, just because of the front end pipeline and the front end offer. Like the numbers just don't make sense, right? So I don't see that happening. I have to dive into a different type of model in order to get to a point where I can make a lot more. Now, there's a couple ways where you can make a lot more money with the same amount of clients. Obviously, one of them is provide more value or do more things, whereas you can start then upselling them, which is one thing. Second thing is that you can raise your prices. Now, obviously, if you raise your prices, your client base is going to be a lot smaller. You're going to be reaching out to higher clients, bigger type of clientele. Third thing is making more money per client, which I mean, arguably would be the same as number one. But I then kind of went to the drawing board, tried to figure out like, how can I make more money per client? And so say just right now, on average, like 19 to 21 clients, say you're on average 20 clients, right? And your average like per client take home is roughly about 1,200 a month, right? If your average take home per client is 1,200 a month, you're at roughly 24K a month in revenue. That is your revenue. That is where you're at. Now, a couple issues with this is that say I want to make 50K a month, right? I have to double this. I have to either double this or double this. What's the easiest to double with less headache, especially in an agency, is obviously the price, right? So, how can I make more money from the same clients and essentially double, if not 1.5x, whatever I can with my revenue? For example, if this number turns into 2K a month, and on average I make 2K per month per client, all of a sudden with the same 20 clients, I'm doing 40K a month in revenue. Make sense? So I'm almost adding what I'm already doing on top of what I'm doing just by increasing the price with $800 a month. And but by looking at it, it doesn't look too crazy, right? But like with the right systems and the right processes, you can easily make 2,000 a month. And I've done the math on this many, many times. And this is the whole reason for why I essentially decided to push this model, is because it allows you to make a lot more money with it, right? That's the first thing. Now, the second thing is that when I'm able to make a lot more money from the same type of clients and the same type of client I am signing on, I am then able to retain them for a lot longer because this model is a lot more profitable, right, in the back end. And the reason that is because with a PPSA model, they pay per seated appointment model. And what I mean by that is that they only pay per seated appointment that they actually sit down with. If you understand your niche, right, well enough to, understand who it is that you're targeting, what creative angles work, what offers work, what doesn't work, how do they book appointments, how to get good qualified appointments in. If you understand your niche well enough, like I'll be honest, I probably spent more than 100K just in my niche on the ads that I typically run for most of my clients. And I can then confidently say, if that's the case, I know what is kind of working. I know what I need to do to be able to get a $30 to $50 cost per booking by high, which means that if I can jump in and offer these people and tell them, hey, you do not cover ad spend. You do not cover anything other than paying per seated appointment. You would only pay if you sit down with the homeowner, and that price is $200 flat. And that's a no-brainer for these clients just because it makes a lot more sense. And it makes a lot more sense because they only pay per shown appointment. They don't have to worry about any daily ad spend, anything like that, nothing at all. And the math is quite simple. If I, on the high end, get a $50 cost per booking, I'm charging 200. All of a sudden, I'm making 150 per appointment profit, right? And then it's just a numbers game. If I want to make 3K per client, all I have to do is book them in roughly about 20 appointments, which is pretty standard. Every single average client with an average size is going to be able to take 20 appointments. Why? Because 20 appointments is roughly about 5 appointments a week. That is nothing, right? And if I'm able to do that with this model, successfully hit the 50 cost per booking, which I know how I'm going to be able to hit because I have certain like ICPs and qualifying things that need to get kind of checkboxed before we decide to sign on a client. If they do sign on and they're within those requirements, we will be able to maximum get it at a highest $50 cost per booking. Making this money, times that by 20, we're going to be at roughly about 3K a month profit from one client. If we're making 3K a month profit from one client, and again, like these clients are a little bit bigger clients, when I did or still have my retainer clients would do anywhere from, I'd say 8 to like 15K a month in revenue and above, right? These clients that we're focusing on right now should do at least 20, 30K a month on average, just to suffice with the amount that they're getting, right? That's the main goal. So ideally, how it's been going right now so far with this is that it's been going quite well. First week, signed 2 clients. First week of running this offer, so roughly a CAC of like I'd say around like 250. Setup cost is already included, so not really too bad, not really too good either. Not too happy with it. Did some more changes, and now we're optimizing again. So I will definitely update by the end of this week with how that works and how that's going to look like. Obviously, that will be on Sunday probably or Saturday. But the overall process, I'm happy with it. I'm excited to kind of get rolling with it. I'm excited to see how that turns out. And I genuinely do think that this is what's going to take me from that. Because I've been fluctuating between 20 to 25K for the longest time. And I genuinely do believe that just by doing this model properly, I can effectively, easily scale to at least 50K a month. And then from there, it's all about just doing the next steps and the next changes. And the reason is because the way that you get to one certain point where, for example, the way that I got to 5K was not the same way that I got to 10K, right? So I got to my first 5K purely through cold calling, hustle, grind, right? In a completely different niche, lost everything, went from 5K back to zero, started from scratch, scale to 10K in like a month because obviously I had the fundamentals, everything made sense, was stuck at 10K for the longest time, maybe like 5 or 7 months, did a few changes, a few tweaks, was able to bump that up to almost 20K. And then ever since then, I've been roughly around like 20 to 25K, always putting out fires, putting out this, and things really not panning out. Another issue with like an agency model is that you continuously have to sign more clients every single month to stay the same place, right? You cannot effectively scale in a way where you have to sign on more clients. For example, if you're doing 20K a month in revenue and you're at 12 clients, if every single month you churn 3 clients, you have to sign a minimum of 3 clients to continuously break even, right? That's a minimum to stay at the same place. And if you're not doing that, well, then slowly but surely your business is dying. And this might not look that scary in the beginning, but it is very scary if you look at it in a longer time frame, right? So say, for example, you start off with 10 clients, right? 10 clients is what you start off with. Every single month you lose 2 clients, right? So month one, you're at 10, month two, you're at 8. You only sign 1 client every single month. That means that month two, you're at 9, which means that the month after you're at 7, then you're at 8, right? Because you signed 1 client. So slowly but surely, by every single month, you're going from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. It is slowly churning down. So you're not really churning everything and dying at one time, but it's slowly happening, right? So in order to stay away from that, you definitely do need to have some flexibility. So I'm happy and I'm content with the amount that I'm making on average with these current retainer clients. And if they do churn, fuck it, they did churn. I've had most of them for a very, very long time. I'm very happy with them and I'm getting them really good results. So I don't believe any of them will all of a sudden just churn. However, I am willing to take the risk to be able to make a lot more money with this and actually finally be able to, get a lot more coming in, right? That's my main goal, because it's not been like that, right? So I'll definitely update. This is again more like what can I say, like a journal for myself. So I don't expect many views on this, nor do I probably want many views on this. It's more so just to kind of look back at myself, hold track of it, and look back at it when obviously I've made it in a certain way. So I'll be more than excited to kind of look back at this and see what this big change and how it caused me to effectively grow my business. It might even be that it didn't work, So we'll see how that pans out on. I'm excited to see. I will be working on, after that Sunday's video, a little bit update as well, to maybe work on some content that goes over the model, how to deliver on it, how to make it work, because I have done it a couple times. I do have a couple active clients on it right now, which it is working. So that's positive. But I do want to obviously only do that if there is a request for it or if that is something I feel like will be valuable for people. If you guys are yourself in a similar situation, I'd love to connect. If you're an agency owner doing anywhere around that same range, even more, even a little bit less, totally fine. Shoot me on my IG, connect with me. I'd be more than happy and more than ecstatic to talk with you, see what you're thinking and what you're doing on your end to make XYZ work. For me right now, network is everything. So I'm all about just connecting with people, making sure that we can be in the same boat and kind of talk each other out and obviously build some friends and people on the way. But yeah, let me know if there's any other questions, if anything I can help out with. We'll talk definitely shortly, and I will update you guys by the end of the week on how everything is going, and most importantly, update myself as well. Appreciate you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next video. Peace out.